First item under new business, BRD1. I recommend the board rescind the prior vote to conduct a superintendent search and approve the appointment of Michael J. Burke as the superintendent of schools for the school district of Palm Beach County. Officers, if they don't quiet down, just pick them out and make them leave. Need a motion? Motion by Dr. Robinson, seconded by Mrs. Andrews. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. BRD2, I recommend the board approve the superintendent's employment agreement. Motion by Mrs. Whitfield, seconded by Dr. Robinson. Discussion? Ms. Ayala?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to get my 2 cents in here as we are making a decision I feel so proud of tonight. I really can't overstate how fortunate we are to have a leader like Mike Burke at this moment in time. Let me tell you a little bit about what I've seen from him in the short time we've been working together. A leader who is the first to arrive and the last to leave. A leader who actively participates in district events with our administrators, our teachers, and actually stays for the duration with nowhere he rapidly needs to escape to. A leader who listens and empowers those around him. A leader who, with a steady hand and a focused determination to do what's best in the interest of our children. A leader who makes it a priority to attend events outside of the standard 9 to 5, or really for him, maybe 7 to 7 expectation of work. After a long day on weekends with community organizations, and to be present and be able to share with trusted partners our efforts to educate, affirm, and inspire the students of the school district of Palm Beach County. He really is the right leader at the right time, at the right place, and I fully support you in this role, Mr. Burke. We're all looking forward to you continuing to make us proud.
Mrs. McQuinn?
2 things in support of Mr. Burke as our superintendent. One, most important, is that when we were at a District 1 high school homecoming parade last Friday, teacher after teacher and the students, unsolicited, came to him and thanked him for what he's doing. The other is, I am relaying.
Officer, that one, whoever that was, they're out. They're out.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to continue, and I will stop every time I'm interrupted.
Go ahead, Mrs. McQuinn.
The other piece is that Mr. Talley, Dave Talley, who is a District 1 resident, sent word through our Inspector General, Teresa Michael, that he could not be here tonight, but that he wants to share his support for Mr. Burke as our superintendent. Mr. Talley, as a District 1 community member, has long supported the schools in particularly District 1. He has served the entire district as a member and chair of our audit committee, and I take his recommendation very much to heart. Thank you.
Vice Chairwoman Brill.
Thank you. So I just want to share with everybody that Mr. Burke was the featured speaker today at the Coalition of Boynton West Residential Associations. And I have to tell you that the feedback that I received was absolutely wonderful. What was especially heartening was that when questions were asked, he spoke from the heart and answered them. And so I tried to give them some words before Mr. Burke was on in the meeting, describing him. And what came to mind immediately, we've heard it from others before, is that he's calm, soft-spoken, personable, and kind, but he's also strong, decisive, and knowledgeable. And kudos to you, Mr. Burke, for the fabulous team that you have put together. What I also find especially great in working with Mr. Burke is that he follows up with me when we meet each week on issues that we discussed the prior week and weeks before. His follow-up, his commitment to roll up his sleeves and be a part of the community, a part of the classroom, to experience the jobs in the district is something that we haven't seen in a very long time and reminds me of Lawton Childs. So I just want to say thank you again, because I think you are absolutely the right person in the right seat on the bus. Thank you.
Mrs. Andrews?
And thank you. And I said earlier, I'm so excited for this vote tonight for Mr. Burke, but I just want to reiterate some things. When we voted for Mr. Burke to be interim, and he was very willing to do it, since that time, I have seen him everywhere. And my district is one of the largest land districts in this county. And the people in Wellington, they've seen him on the ground at the last meeting when I just talked about the $400,000 the village of Wellington gave to the schools. The meeting said, the people at the meeting said to Mr. Burke, you're the first one, superintendent, that's been here to thank us for giving the $400,000 to the students, as well as the $3.4 million we've done over the years. You're the first superintendent that has done that. And just recently, Mr. Burke said, Ms. Andrews, I'll meet you at Canal Point Elementary School. And maybe some of you don't know where it's located, but it's the northwest part of Palm Beach County when you make the Palm Beach County line coming in to Palm Beach County. Mr. Burke met me out there at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning to talk to the community about making a difference in a school that needed a lot of help. I just know I see him everywhere. I see him visiting schools, and he has said to me, I'm committed, Ms. Andrews, to do whatever it takes to improve student achievement. And I know him because he's worked with me over the years. I'm excited to cast this vote tonight for Michael Burke, superintendent of schools. And as I heard the leaders of this community and people who know him best, they've reiterated what I'm saying. He's the man for the job right now to do it, to make Palm Beach County better than ever. And we're already a great county, but we're going to high heights with Michael Burke, superintendent of schools. Thank you.
Dr. Robinson?
Thank you. So I resisted the urge to speak at the last meeting. And I was tempted not to say anything this time, but I also want to add my optimism and my expectation of change, you know? So Mr. Burke probably is not going to remember this, but some years ago, a principal in District 7 explained to me how the staffing formula was shortchanging the kids at his school. And I could not do an adequate job of sharing that message with Mr. Burke, and so he met me at the school. And the principal explained it to him, and they looked at some data and some spreadsheets, and Mr. Burke came back and gave some additional units for reading at that school. And that impressed me because Mr. Burke has always known that the purpose of the dollars that he was watching for us and for you was to educate children, right? And so, and the formula sometimes needed to be tweaked in order to do so. And so that's just one of many experiences that led me actually 2 superintendents ago to vote for Mr. Burke to be superintendent then, right? And I just realized recently, actually after watching him on one of these Sunday morning shows, that he's like a stealth agent or something. He had been sitting, I'm imagining, in hundreds of meetings with these career educators, listening, and he just turned right around and started answering questions about academics and social-emotional learning and so forth that just truly impressed me. And it came naturally. It wasn't rehearsed. It was something he knows, right? And so I am really, really thrilled that we have Mr. Burke as our next superintendent. You know, people talk about having career educators as superintendent, but you know what? Like, we've done that for a long time, right? And we have outcomes that I'm not at all pleased with, right? So yeah, If we want something different, let's do something different. And I'm ready. Let's go, Mr. Burke.
All right, I guess I'll finish it up. I was quoted in the paper saying there's no one more qualified in this building to be the superintendent of this district, but I went on to say, and the reporter didn't report it, I don't believe there's anyone in this country that's more qualified to be superintendent of this district. Mr. Burke, you can keep the comments to yourself. Mr. Burke has the financial background. He's managed the $4 billion budget of this district for years. Mr. Burke has sat in, as Dr. Robinson said, has sat in almost every academic meeting because Mr. Burke was responsible for funding those needs of our children. He's got what we probably wouldn't find anywhere. He's got both the academic and the financial background and the business background to lead this district. It's a $4 billion enterprise. We have 170,000 children that need his expertise, and I think we've made the best decision we could possibly ever make in hiring Mr. Burke as the superintendent of Palm Beach County. With that said, we'll take a vote. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Congratulations, Superintendent Burke. You're our new superintendent.
Thank you very much.